Oh my God, I tell you what, I remember the worst frickin' luck with cameras. My coffee mug, which has been awesome, best coffee mug I ever had. Sarah bought it for me. I put it in my soft backpack. There's the top, the top over the top here, the zipper container on the top of the backpack. And I just threw my coffee mug in there one morning with my $2,000 video camera last week or just a week and a bit ago. And I got up the mountain and I could smell coffee everywhere. And my coffee mug had slowly leaked the entire thing out into that top compartment and saturated my camera and annihilated it. And drooled all through my backpack without me realizing it because I had a waterproof jacket on, right? That sucked. So I just ordered another one. I just did the previous email with it, and I just looked at it, and the lens is fogged up. There's moisture in there. Like, holy crap. So I got my Canon, and it needs to go to the repair shop because I turn it on, it won't turn off. Another $5,500 camera, not including the lenses. Ah well, it's the how it goes in the outdoor world, right? I've gone through, probably, I'll bet you I've gone through a dozen video cameras in the last 10 years anyway, or less, with guiding all year and bringing those things. It's just the way it goes, nature of the beast. All right, what do we got? All right, listen to this. Hey Steve, want to start out by saying thank you for your work you're doing on this subject. You're a great man for helping people when they have nowhere else to go for help. Please know it does not go unnoticed. Please do not share my name, but feel free to share my story. If you'd like more specific location details for personal knowledge, shoot me an email back and I can send it to you. You know what? I'm good on that, man. I don't seek these things out. I'm not creating a database of exact locations, unlike some other people. My motivation here is for you and all the people here. That's my motivation, okay? I don't think we're going to get any more honest information and knowledge than amongst ourselves together as a group. I don't think that's going to happen anywhere. All right? So that's what I'm doing. Locations, I already know these things are all over the place. There's no getting around it. Now, I'm a 21-year-old college student who grew up hunting, fishing, and trapping out west in Nevada. Been at it since I was a young kid. I love the outdoors and spend as much time as possible out in the desert doing what I love. Last year, I decided to go to a smaller school in southeast Louisiana. I had no idea what I wanted to study, but the tuition was cheap and I was drooling thinking of the duck hunting heaven I was about to find myself in. Mind you, the closest relatives I had were in Nevada, some 2,300 miles away. Shortly after I moved down south, I realized I needed a boat if I was going to do any public land hunting in my area. So I bought a 14-foot flat-bottom boat with a 20-horsepower long-tail mud motor. The guy I bought the boat from and his buddies were some real southern boys, and I ended up hunting and fishing with them the whole time I was down there. My main goal for the season was to shoot my first drake wood duck, as they are like a needle in a haystack back home. Come the last day of the season, I had only shot hens, so I was determined to get out and kill one. The only buddy of mine that was going to hunt with me got sick the night before. I didn't like hunting by myself down there, as the swamps are so unfamiliar to me as a Westerner, but man did I want a drake woody. So I ended up launching the boat around 4 a.m. by myself in a large river and planned to hunt a swamp way back on it that we had scouted a week or so before. It's about a 30-minute ride down the river and another 45-minute ride down a canal towards the swamp where the canal virtually dead ends. I mean literally the middle of nowhere. It was by no means a popular spot, just one of the thousands of little holes to hunt in this river. The boys I scouted it with had never been to this spot, them having grown up hunting in the area their whole lives. Only reason I was somewhat comfortable going down there alone was I had used a tracker app when scouting that showed me the way in and out. This canal I was riding through is fairly narrow, about 20 feet across, riddled with stumps and roughly 4 to 5 feet deep. The surrounding foliage looked like a damn movie set. Beautiful big cypress trees with low-hanging moss and thick brush mixed with palmettos, about 5 feet tall on either side. My boat is rigged up for bow fishing as well, and I use an LED light bar to see when I'm out before the sun comes up, so visibility is not a problem. I was almost to the end of the canal, maybe 4 or 5 minutes left, and as I come around a bend, there he was standing smack dab in the middle of the canal. He was lit up like a Christmas tree, plain as day, and there is no mistaking what I saw. A bipedal creature, long shaggy black hair covering its whole body other than his face. Mind you, the water was roughly 5 feet deep and most of its torso was well above the waterline. Making eye contact with that creature is a feeling I never want to feel again. To say I was scared shitless is of course an understatement. If you know about long-tail mud motors, you know they have no reverse, so I killed the motor as quick as I could and reached for my gun. Before I could even throw shells in it, that thing took off out of the water in no time at all, dove into the wall of brush and was gone. The amount of muscle and power it takes to launch through the water and that thick backwater mud like that is just plain crazy. The scariest 15 seconds of my life was then frantically trying to turn the boat around in the canal with my paddle and trying to start my engine. I can only imagine. It's a pull cord style start, and I was shaking so bad it took me 5 or 6 tries before I could actually grasp the handle long enough to pull it. I flew back to the boat launch, virtually destroying the bottom of my boat and my prop by smashing through stumps. I ended up moving home after 2 semesters there, mostly due to the whole COVID thing, but in the back of my mind, I think I really know why I came back. Don't have to worry about seeing one of those things out in the sagebrush flat. I never told my buddies, my parents, nobody, and I've had a hard time processing it since. I just want to thank you again for giving people like me an outlet. It helps me more than you can imagine. Warm wishes from Nevada. Yeah, I would have scared the shit out of anybody, man. You know, it's funny, as soon as he said that, the part about turning the boat around, in which you put us right there with you. Recall quite a while ago, I think I shared this on here when I was sitting down with a bunch of friends of mine that worked for the Coast Guard fisheries here in British Columbia, and they would typically go off and disappear for a month patrolling the coast. And when they came back to shore, make a long story short, one of these guys piped up that he had seen one of these things, and the very first thing he said, it was freaking huge, and there's a carload of 4 of them, and they're on this narrow winding road, humpback road, for all you people from Victoria, Vancouver Island that know where I'm talking about. And this thing came down, they're driving this way, it came down from their left, ran diagonal across the road in front of the headlights in front of them, they slammed on the brakes, same thing, holy shit, crap in their pants. And it's funny how one of the main points he made was, we were scared to death turning around. And who would think of that detail, right? Because you're on a narrow one-way kind of ish road, single traffic, single lane, old road, winding like this, and you got to turn around like this. Right? So meanwhile, you're stopped dead. Now you're broadside to the blackness where that thing is, and now you got to turn around with the blackness behind you, not even knowing if it's standing right there behind you or not, right? So I can't imagine what that stress would have been like trying to turn your boat around in the middle of frickin' nowhere. And that's quite a run too, 30 minutes and 45 minutes to top each other for ducks. It's funny, I got some friends in the south in Alabama, and I've never been duck hunting in my life. I shot a few with my bow when I was a kid, sitting behind a wall blind on the beach on the Vancouver Island, but I've never gone duck hunting, and it's amazing to me to watch the enthusiasm. It's a big deal, isn't it, duck hunting? You know, there's friends of mine, they spend thousands of dollars on a dog for hunting ducks with, and it's amazing to me to watch the enthusiasm and excitement of people, average duck hunters. So wow, that's dedication, man. To get a duck, for me, I don't know anything about it, but to picture somebody going through all that trouble just to get to a spot to shoot ducks, that's something else. It's too bad it was ruined for you, right? I'm guessing you didn't get your Drake wood duck. Maybe another time. But obviously, I mean, that thing took off. While you were taking off one way, that thing's taking off the other, right? So, thankfully. But anyway, I better chuck in this battery. These poor cameras are taking a beating, man. And oh, there's the mountains. Showed up behind me again. hope you guys can see that mountain behind me now. Whew. I'm getting chilly. I got pretty sweaty this morning. I'm gonna hunt my way out of here in the deep timber. But I'm gonna read another email here while I got everything set up. Here we go again. Greetings and salutations. I've not seen these people in person, but I've had one contact. For the person of helping others grow knowledge of these people, I'll relay experience related, then I'll relay the moment I made contact. I'm a former member of the Canadian military with training experience in special forces, special operations, and intelligence. I worked often in the libraries of intel offices around this country. There were no books or info about these people in these libraries. Once while attending a special briefing in the vault, the ultra-high security ops room where people see in movies, at a secret facility, I was shown a locked library to retrieve necessary material. When the cabinet opened, I saw over 100 books, 100 ledgers and binders marked Sasquatch / ... bracket, a word I will not share, bracket. All right, I'm gonna cause some curiosity there. Some of the binders were after action reports. A few years after I retired, I was living in Kelowna. I discovered Penasque Mountain, which is the highest summit on the 97C highway between West Bank and Merritt. I really felt wonderful there and went often for hiking, camping, and fishing the creeks and pocket lakes for trout. A feeling of total freedom came over me whenever I went there. In the summer of 2006, I decided to do a full RECCE and survey of Crown land with the intention of picking an area to apply to purchase so I could build a home. I knew exactly where I wanted to be and felt I needed to ensure access to water and other realities of building a house. When I arrived at the spot I had picked out on Google Earth, I was in awe of the view. There is the second peak of the west side of the ridge. There is a bare spot below it at the edge of a cut block where I wanted to build. As I stood there taking in the breathtaking view of hundreds of miles of mountains all around that were visible from that point, I noticed the peak above the trees. There was a game trail, very well beaten, going into the trees, so I went to look for sign. 10 feet into the tall trees, I saw the markers. There were structures on either side of the trail that I recognized from the day in the vault. They were identical and made from trees no 5 strong men could lift or manipulate to put in these configurations. It didn't happen from a storm either. There was no swath of wind damage around them. I chuckled to myself, thinking how useless the 30-30 I had slung over my shoulder was. I don't know why, but I wasn't scared at all. Not even suspicious, just curious. Then I got the spidey sense that I must follow the trail. Alongside it was one of the hundreds of springs that popped out of the ground all over the area. Aha! Water for the house coming from above. There were no, and I mean no, tracks of any kind in the trail. No scat either. I thought right away that the local wildlife stayed away from here, but decided to go anyway. I had to. Somehow it wasn't a choice. I came up on an opening about an acre in size. No grass, no brush. Nothing but shale and gravel and rocks the size of a 45-gallon drum and smaller spread around. In the surrounding trees were more structures. Then as I stood on the edge, I realized this could be a cemetery, and that's the feeling I had. All of a sudden, in the bush around me, there were steps and rustling of brush. Now the goosebumps came to call. I could smell body odor and breath behind me to the right. I said aloud, "Is this a graveyard?" Was the grunt. "Prayer said," was my response, and I looked at the ground, turned to the left, and went back to my truck. I didn't buy the land and have not gone back. That's their home. There's an interesting one. What an eyeful that must have been, seeing all those documents in the vault. Maybe if you would, or not, whatever, but if you want to, if you can remember any other details that you saw in the vault and you want to share them, email me back, and I'll read them aloud to all the people here that are interested in what you've seen and the knowledge that you have. Man, there's some crazy shit going on the planet, isn't there? It sure does suck, Again, another part of my vote, my biggest curiosity out of everything is, why are we not informed? Why are we not educated with all the knowledge equally? Why are we being lied to, It just sucks that we're being lied to. It's not fair. It's not fair we're being lied to. But at least there's thousands and thousands of people coming forward and sharing all the knowledge here, right? So, I mean, it's about the best we can do, and it's not a bad thing. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good thing to do. There's lots of knowledge coming forward, that's for sure. But what an amazing topic, man. It's just an amazing lifetime. The things going on in the real world is just amazing. All right. Hi, Steve. I'd like to remain anonymous, please. I'm in a kind of a weird situation because I don't know if I truly believe in Bigfoot, but I've seen some weird things in the woods over the years that I cannot be rationally explained. I'm not trying to discredit anyone who believes in Bigfoot. I just haven't had a true big first-hand experience with one that pushed me to believing all the way. This story is my biggest experience in the subject, but I'm only 29 years old. A lot more time to go. Maybe something will happen in the future. Anyways, I was about 16 with my best friend. Grew up together, lifelong friends, and we was coon hunting. That's how it's spelled. I had a small female walker dog, and he had a 2-year-old black and tan, and he was a monster, solid muscle, just the biggest black and tan I've ever seen. I don't know if this black and tan is fearless or stupid. He had no fear of anything. Remember that. He would literally run into a pack of coyotes just to fight a couple of them and come running back to us like it was nothing. Like I said, he was either fearless or stupid. We had hunted my dog earlier that evening. A few drops, but she was older and wore out, so I put her in the dog box with some food and water, and we dropped the black and tan off at the next stop, so we let him hunt on his own. We parked the truck, had him on a lead, and then my walker inside the dog box. I remember this really strong smell of wet dog and skunk when we got out of the truck. Didn't think much of it because we had coon dogs running through the creeks, and it's nothing for a skunk to spray in the woods. What was weird, the wet dog smell wasn't coming from the direction of our dogs, and it was horrible, even for coon dogs. Then my walker dog started whimpering, so I thought she wanted to go out again, so I opened up the door and she would not come out of the dog box, which is really rare. I thought maybe she had a thorn in her paw or something and was just being a crybaby, so I checked her over. Nothing was wrong with her. She was just whimpering, which she rarely did inside the box. So we cut the male black and tan loose to hunt on his own. This is usually where my story gets discredited. We were good old boys, just out in the middle of nowhere, wasn't hurting anybody, so we had a 6-pack of beer and a joint, and we was just out having fun being teenagers. Anyways, the dog took off into the woods. We were sitting on the tailgate for about 45 minutes drinking, listening to my dog cry in the box. Then the black and tan cut loose that he had found a trail. So we kept up, start walking, and we get about 100 feet into the woods, and we hear him on the other side of the woods close to the swamp, wetland area. He let out a big yelp, like someone beat him or something. Me and my friend both looked at each other like, what the heck? Maybe he caught a coon on the ground and it bit him or something, or the idiot ran into a tree not looking where he was going. Anyways, about 3 seconds later, he comes blasting past us, heading to the truck, not making a sound, just running full bore as fast as he could. He didn't even look at us. So we shined our lights in the direction that he came from, heard a bunch of crashing and thrashing like somebody's running away from us on the other side of the woods, but we never seen anything. First thing we thought a few deer was running off. Anyways, the dog is still acting weird. He runs from nothing. We stood there, called for him, and whistled, but he never came back to us in the woods. We walked back to the truck. He is literally underneath the truck, shaking. We finally coaxed him out from underneath the truck. His whole right side is covered in mud from head to tail, and his left side just has one muddy patch on it. He was literally dropped from the air in the mud. We got looking at the smaller mud patch on his left side and realized it was a big footprint. I mean, 8 inches wide, and went from his lower rib to the top of his back, like a huge footprint. I wish I could find the picture. It was on my old flip phone. I've never seen a person with a foot that big unless Shaq O'Neal was out there in the woods in Indiana and kicked a coon dog. We was the only ones out there in the woods at 11:30 p.m. We even got in the truck and drove around the square mile a couple times to see if any other humans or hunters were parked around. Didn't see anyone or anything, and it was a quiet night. We would have heard a vehicle leave. Whatever it was, literally kicked this dog onto his right side without getting any mud on his left side, besides the muddy footprint. And it was a bare foot, no shoes or boots tread in it. Looked like the heel of a huge foot and part of the center of an arc on the foot. We have told this story to a few people, but no one believes us. I'm not 100% sure what it was. Like I said, take from this story what you will. I really wish I could find that picture because it is a perfect footprint on that poor dog. It was just really, really weird. Thanks again, Steve. I'm glad I found your YouTube page. Keep up the good work, and hopefully I'll 100% believe in these things one day. Well, that's a different one. And you know what? One thing I always tell everybody, not this with anything in life, you already know what the answer is. We already know what many answers are due to our gut instincts, our intuition. We already know. We already know the right decisions to make before we make them. We know a lot in our subconscious. We just don't know. You know what I mean? The majority of us aren't in tune with our intuition as we should be, so we second guess and question ourselves like you are right now. But you know it as well as I do. Your intuition, your guts are telling you exactly what it was, right? That's why you're confused. You just got to go with it. Go with yourself and go with your intuition. And who gives a shit what anybody thinks? Obviously, right? I mean, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. To all you people out there who are scared, not leaving your names, I don't care. I don't feel any less of you if you want to remain anonymous. But if you look at me and look what I do for a living, have done for a living, and look what I'm doing here online, what bad has come of it to me? Nothing. Nothing. Has anybody come up to me in public and tried to humiliate me or attack me or verbally assault me or anything? Never. If anything, I'm sure there's a pile of people saying shit about me behind my back, without a doubt, but whatever. What does that say about those people, right? If you can't say shit to somebody's face, you're a coward. So whatever. Before I go on a bit of a tangent, that dog, you're lucky that dog didn't get killed. There's been so many reports of dogs getting literally torn in half, thrown on porches, thrown in the yard. I don't know why. I don't know why they have such a hate on for dogs and kill them just like that. I haven't a clue. I mean, they're just a stupid dog. They're somebody's pet. You know, it's a family member of somebody's. I don't understand why these beings kill them more often than they don't, but you're pretty lucky your dog didn't get whacked, right? Man, it doesn't look cold, but it is cold. I'm wet, and I am getting frickin' frozen. And I got about a 2-hour hike-ish. I'm going to make a great big loop around this mountain and dive into some big, thick timber before I get out of here. There's some real huge buck prints over here that are 24 hours old, and he was chasing a doe in circles. And I've been running back and forth on the side of this mountain trying to locate where the pocket is, where they might be right now, and eliminated that half of the pocket over there and got me real sweaty. So I'm gonna circle around back this way and through some timber behind me on the other side of the mountain, get warmed up again on the way out. But it's endless. It's frickin' endless. Why are we being lied to? Why are we being lied to? Well, it's like I said, I don't know how many times I said it. You know, there's all these people that are trying to do this and trying to do that, and trail cameras and trying to get hair samples when it's already been done a million times. The answers are out there for what you can or can't pull off. There's so many people out there just mimicking each other, going squatching. Meanwhile, why is there not a shitstorm of people demanding why we're being lied to? Why aren't the children being taught the honest knowledge of what's going on? Why? You know? That's what makes me angry. That's what frustrates me. All right, these things are running around. I've seen them. Thousands of you people have seen them and had experiences. Why are we being lied to?